Well, this the fourth time I done tried to make this video, man. I've been up all morning trying to do this video. I'm talking about since like 4 o'clock in the morning, man. We gonna read the Bible. Hold on. I had this fortune cookie. And I said, fortune cookie gonna say some shit like, fortune cookie gonna say some shit like, sometimes your friends could be better, some shit, shit like that. Fortune cookie say shit. And fortune cookie said some shit about getting some money. I said, you know, it's something about them niggas and money. It's something about them niggas and some money, man. Fortune cookie said, success and wealth are in your future. And I said, fortune cookie, talk how I want fortune cookie to talk. Wealth and success are in my future. I got the Bible here, y'all. I've been trying to do this video for I know how we do it. I'm trying to do this video for a couple of hours now. I gotta go to the dentist in a minute. It says, David conquers Jerusalem. David and all the Israelites marched to Jerusalem, that is Jebus, and Jebusites who lived there said to David, you will not get in here. Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion, which is the city of David. That's 1CHRONICLES chapter 11, verse 4. And I knew God would give me something that was going to be on what I was trying to say. These last 3 videos I had to erase. Is that David was trying to get into a place where it wasn't his. It wasn't of his spirit. It wasn't of his divine, righteous, and holy ways. And they were telling David, you ain't gonna get in here. So David felt like, well, damn, this ain't my home. Maybe I ain't supposed to be here. And it said, nevertheless, David got in there, and it became the kingdom of David. You gotta understand, you a conqueror. You gotta come ready to slay like King David that slew that big old giant and feel like you trying to run you off and tell you can't have something, you can't have your blessing, and you can't have your blessing here on this earth. You gotta understand that you come like King David and you came to slay and you for take over that stuff. And God's gonna have his way over that. And that's gonna be your kingdom now. That's why we here on this earth as the angels of God. And I've been trying to say it for 3 videos since, 4 this morning, 4 o'clock this morning, 0400, 0 dark 30, we call it in the military. 0 dark 30, ain't nothing wrong with me. This how I'm trying. At least that's what I'm gonna tell them. You know, this how we train. You know what I'm saying? And David was of we was talking about the Amazon Queens. We were talking about Kathy Williams. We were talking about King David. David came to overthrow wicked empires and places of sin and places of low vibrations to instill the high frequency and the blessings and bring stuff to its fruitful, rightful ways. And we gotta understand that's why we're here on this earth. Don't let that Goliath run you off. Don't let them Jebusites. Don't let them Jebusites tell you that you don't belong here and you can't have it. Because nevertheless, you came to slay and take that and make that a blissful place. And make people happy. And let your light shine. And make people laugh and smile. You make people laugh and smile. People, you are a very motivational, powerful force that in these dark and wicked times, in our lowest places we've been as black people, you make people laugh and smile. You bring people together. When black people can't come together, you have a way, in a certain way of life, you got a way to bring black people together. It's some niggas bringing people together, but it ain't just black people. You got a way to bring the niggas together when we used to know how to come together, and we don't know. You know how to bring niggas together, and they smiling where they doing it. They look forward to hearing your voice. They look forward to seeing you and seeing what they can learn, what they can get some knowledge on some stuff, some things you can help them with, and they can come back to their families and they can put in that same work and uplift people because they didn't learn something from you, and now they taking that work and the blessings they got from you and they bringing it back to their people and bringing that blessing back to their people and they everyday life in the circles and the paths they walk into wherever they at, and people look forward to coming to you and getting the knowledge and the wisdom. And don't let them Jebusites tell you that this is not for you. This ain't gonna be no kingdom for you, David. Ain't no your God you serve gonna have no blessing and abundance and a cup that runneth over for you here. David, who you think you is? Amazon Queen? You think you finna have some fruit, coconut water, and pina coladas here? Queen Moo, you think you finna have Atlantis where y'all was on an island chilling here? No, Queen Moo, no, King David, y'all ain't finna have no blessed time here. Nevertheless, the Bible said, let me see, no, the Bible for the nigga. It said, nevertheless. Nevertheless. I should have just read the Bible. I've been up all morning trying to figure out how to say how God can give you 2 or 3 sentences. I done put 2 or 3 hours into this. Nevertheless, you're going to have your way. King David. Amazon Queen. Buffalo Soldier. Nevertheless, You gonna have your way. It's gonna be the easy way, or it's gonna be the hard way. No, they could have just let King David come on. They knew who he was. It wasn't no secret on who King David was after he came across Goliath. At that point, they already knew what that was. The king, I can't think of his name. He had promoted him to king. You gotta understand, when he did that to Goliath, when he did it to him, no baby oil. When he did it to him, it was already like that. He that's him. And I would assume that this wasn't the first. We can look it up. We can see how many battles and people he overthrew and overcame at that point. We get an estimate. 1 Chronicles was at 11. We get an estimate. David and all the Israelites marched to Jerusalem, that is Jebus. The Jebusites who lived there said to David, "You will not get in here." Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion, which is the city of David. Yeah, so there was at least 1 or 2 battles that happened before this. Yeah. So this wasn't the first people that David came into contact with that were trying to, they knew who David was. And they know who you is. But you can't let them tell you that you're not supposed to have no joy and a blessing here on this earth and make you feel like you're supposed to be dead and somewhere else. You got to be like King David and be like, nevertheless, this is going to be my city. Now, I imagine them days of time, King David had some people around there. He had whole armies and civilizations and towns of people. He wanted the whole city. Do you even want a city right now? Your city gentrified. You might want to be like, I just want to have my way with my love right here in my community, with my friends, and at least in my house. In my life. At least this is going to be my life. I'm not going to have to live by the city of David that was the Jebu city. At least this life is going to be, maybe it used to be your life, you have control of it. Now this is going to be my life. And you say, nah, you can't have your life. You going to work and get up and do and live how I want you to live. You be like, nah, nevertheless, I'm going to have my life the way I want my life. It's my life. Sometimes you got to cut some of them people out, like David cut off Goliath. And Goliath collide with a popular, big shit talking motherfucker. Big old, you call him an athlete today, all that money. All them fans follow him and shit. And here come a little common man and tell him you talking blasphemy, you living wrong. And it wasn't done it took a lot like that. The way he done it. No baby wall. And that's the energy they give us today as the chosen people, the children of God. And even some of us have given up on our righteous journey and saying we're children of God. Sometimes it's not that you are even entertaining what the Jebusites are saying, like, nah, you can't have it here. You can't have this. Sometimes it's just that you've let me it was saying something else right after that. Let me read that, because I get on talking and I'll be just like I was earlier this morning trying to explain this shit. They say right here, David said, whoever leads the attack on the Jebusites will become commander-in-chief. Joab, son of Zeruiah, went up first, and so he received the command. So just like Joab, you gotta be willing to do what the king God has commanded you to come on this earth and do. Sometimes you ain't even entertaining the Jebusites telling you that this ain't for you. Sometimes you know you can have your blessed way because you still doing it. Sometimes you just ain't. King David said, well, whoever lead the charge gonna be the one I leave in charge this motherfucker when we leave here. You gonna be the one I leave and rule over there, because we gotta go on down to the next village. We ain't talking about killing people. We ain't talking about fighting no war. We talking about you having victory in your life right now. We were seeking some wisdom with that. We're talking about this earth. We're talking about being here. We're talking about the chosen people feeling gang stalk, feeling their intelligence being insulted, and people misleading them, and they still doing God's work, but they still feel uncomfortable because you are from a heavenly army. Talking about the buffalo soldiers, and the symbol of the heavens in the times of antiquity was a bull. And went all the way to Egypt with Queen Mu. They was worshiping the golden calf. And as a loud plane flies by, you gotta be willing to take on that challenge. Like King David asked, who gonna lead the charge over the Jebusites? You gotta be willing to say, me, God. It don't say how long it took somebody to stand up, but you gotta understand that was part of it. He didn't say Joab stood up and say, I'm gonna lead the charge. He said King David said, well, whoever do it. So it must have been, it was a time window, was the guy, Joab was looking like, who gonna lead the charge? It didn't say how long it took them to have that conversation, how many days or months or weeks. Or sometimes it ain't about the Jebusites. Sometimes it's within the heavenly body itself, amongst the few of the billions in populations in the number itself. Sometimes it's not about you and your friends or the person you're like. Sometimes it's just about the internal conflict. You choosing to partake in certain social functions or not entertaining certain peoples in their conversations, in their social gatherings. That's what I see as a chosen people. It really ain't about what nobody else doing. It's about us. And it comes down to the common denominator. It comes down to the single person and the internal demons that person's dealing with. We as the children of God, we gotta be willing to lead that charge on wickedness and evil. And that don't mean war. It's a spiritual war. It's something that we all gotta overcome within ourselves first, that we are losing. So we can't even come together as a collective. We're coming together. There's a gathering of losers in the black communities, and they're in charge of the black community. So therefore the rest of the multitude, the majority of the black community, the black community as a whole is losing, because we're being led by losers, because there's a gathering of losers leading in loss. They're leading in lostness and baby oilness, slippery foulness. They're slipping and falling everywhere. Get away from them baby oil niggas. Because then you can hear the Jebusites talking. You gotta understand King David, me being the Davidson, I got my wallet on me. I can say this. A preacher might be a preacher might say it, but he ain't able to say it. He ain't supposed to say it. I can say it. Look at here. I say Davidson. Davidson. King Davidson. Look. On King David. On King David. Fuck you mean, for real, nigga? On King David. Nah, for real. All day, all night. On King David. All night. Look at that. Day and night. On King David. Look. When them Jebusites were telling him, when them Jebusites were telling, oh, you can't have it, I'm trying to tell you, the way I think King David didn't even hear that shit. He didn't even hear that shit. Either they move, you gotta understand how I overcame my shit. I'll be like, some shit ain't right, whatever conversation is about shit ain't right, nigga, fuck that shit. Either nigga got right, or nigga just had a notion of standing there talking. Cause I couldn't even understand. I couldn't understand and comprehend no talking. I had to watch every little split second of the microscopic second of his moving. Either he was backing the fuck up or he was finna bring some resistance. I didn't hear none of motherfucker. I ain't had that luxury. That's not how I got to where I'm at today. I couldn't do no talking shit. I couldn't hear no talking. I sit there and watch that motherfucker. And that motherfucker make one little the wrong move or like motherfucker type shit, I was already going. You gotta understand, when them Jebusites was telling King David, like, y'all can't have it, King David wasn't even he wasn't hearing none of that shit. He was like, man, we could kill him. Getting him out of here. And it's a spiritual war now. It's not an easy physical war. We can flex our muscle as the children of God, and to have this world alienate us when we have a divine right to be here and conduct our righteous ways. It's a spiritual battle now. It's more challenging than it's ever been. It's a lot of laws and rules and you cans and can't do's with this shit. Y'all gonna have to be able to be very intelligent and strategic about what you do. It's not as easy as it used to be. You can run, jump faster, and get madder like a pit bull and fuck them up. It's not that easy no more. You're gonna have to be clever. It's a spiritual battle. Nevertheless, it's the objective to be completed. It's a mission at hand. You must complete your objective. And being able to have victory in your life. That's why I look at where it talks about the city of Jebu became the city of David. You're going to have to be able to have what they call life become the life that God has potentially laid before you and blessed you with a cup that runneth over, a life full of joy. You got to claim that victory. You got to stand up. Standing up might mean starting to function with people who are like you versus people that act like you. They talk that black power talk, but they really ain't about it. And it's going to be most challenging for y'all sisters because y'all supposed to talk that black power talk. But these mythologies I've been reading have broken all this shit up. These last ones I've been doing are called the cipher of the goddess history, where you used to have black women warriors like the Amazon queens. You had the black woman goddess, the Buffalo woman, and how she was from the Buffalo Nation, and she taught different Indian tribes holy ways, and they was in famine, didn't have food, and rabbit and deer and fish to hunt and eat, and she would come and bring all the game for them to eat, and meat and fish and stuff, and she also would teach them how to worship God. Yeah, Queen Mu, after stuff fell apart, she was the leader of the empire from Atlantis. She came and regathered an empire in Chichen Itza, and then she left Mesoamerica, the mainland from Atlantis. She left Central America and went to Africa and built Egypt. It's going to be so challenging for you black women because all a woman really has to do is talk and be positive. And there's a lot of men that's more women than y'all is. All they do is men are sitting around and talk and be positive, but they ain't what they supposed to be doing. But that makes you feel comfortable because that's what you grew accustomed to in these latter years. And this time we're in now in 2024, there's a lot of men sitting around and talking a good talk, but they're not doing shit. But you comfortable with that. But men that people call extreme or crazy, that's about action, y'all alienate them, but that's who you really supposed to be connecting with. Sometimes it's not about cutting some people off. Sometimes it's not about connecting with some people. Sometimes it's one or the other. Sometimes it's both. But I've done a great job of exposing how we've had great black women leaders of the times past, and it's too easy to see that some of these niggas ain't on shit. It's too easy to see it. It's a lot of niggas that's on that shit. That's why it's gonna be a challenge, because there's a lot of ain't shit niggas, and they all the niggas they tell y'all to. They all the niggas they tell y'all to, you know, go and they cool for you to fuck with. And if you fuck with some niggas that ain't them, you fucked up. Like, that's gonna be the challenging part. But this world is just like the city of Jebu, and the Jebusites are trying to tell you that this world ain't for you, but you gotta know you are blessed and sent by God to live your righteous and holy life here and be under the protection of God and have a life full of joy and fruitfulness and blessings. You just gotta own it. You gotta be tired of men insulting your intelligence and making you think that they're a man because they look good and they talk a good talk, but they not getting you or your people anywhere. They're sitting there doing the same thing you doing, talking a good talk. And you know that you can do more than that as a woman. I'm gonna keep reading these mythologies and stuff, but I'm starting to read that a lot of women are supposed to be in charge of the leadership. It's been something said that the women used to be the leader. That's not what I see. I see in some instances that is 100% correct. But it was something that, hearing that the black woman supposed to be the leader, I was like, it's not gonna be possible to have that complete 360 or 180 degree change, right? But to see and to be reading that we had a significant amount or just as much as women leaders in different cultures in the times of antiquity is something that's still groundbreaking, to where I can see that happening. And why is that more challenging? Because something that was too far-fetched of an idea that didn't seem realistic, I'm seeing and doing research on the reality aspect of it, to where but it was just as much of them, or close to, almost close enough to 50-50, maybe 50, maybe 60-40. 40% women was in charge and heroes and warriors and shit. And that's something to be like, well, why is that more complicated? Because I see that potential. Whether the black race progresses or degresses, I still see enough women intelligent and black women in the limelight and in certain positions now, if not in leadership. I still see a significant amount of black women able to just make that next step to have that 60-40 again. That's why it's hard, because it's like, now it's trying to get the people to do something that can be done versus something, or the black woman supposed to be in charge. Oh, that ain't gonna never happen. You talking about a whole change, a U-turn going in the other direction. Yeah, well, it sounded good. Yeah, we heard about it before too. They talked about it. But you talking about what at least supposed to be 60-40. That's some shit like, damn, that's an option. That's doable. We see how that can be done. We see and do research where it has been done. So that's where it's like, we didn't want that when that was how that was. And we changed that. That's how it is. That's how it was. 50-50, 60-40, somewhere in there like that. We seen that and we don't want that. And that's why it's so challenging, because it's a fight over that. That's what the fight is about. So I'm here just to be the bearer of true news and true historical records and accounts of shit. And I've read in the Bible where it says, live your life of joy. Don't let nothing stop you living your life of joy. You being a righteous being of King David and the holy blessed people, whether you realize it or not. You have no option but to do God's work and to speak truth to evil and wickedness. You have no choice in that. But what you do have a choice in is who you give your attention to and who you socialize with. And that affecting you, how your morale is, if you enjoy while you're doing God's work, because you're going to do God's work. You're an angel. And don't let these Jebusites tell you that you can't have your way in your city. Don't let these Jebusites tell you you can't have your joy in your life. Don't even think about that. Don't even ponder that idea. Don't even repeat that shit. Because nevertheless, you're going to have your way. Just like King David did. This following videos, y'all check out later. We're going to do Freestyle Friday. And we're going to do a mythology read. Yeah, we're going to do that. Y'all check in.